Welcome to this week's devotion. It's entitled Authority. This is the Gone Fishing series, and we're in Romans chapter 13. You know, the people of this world, what do you hear out of their mouth? Complaining, complaining, complaining. But it's understandable. When you're not of God, you don't understand eternity. What kind of outlook do you have? Of course, it's negative. And that's what negative people will do, complain. Now, who do they often complain about? Those in authority. Those in authority get the blame game. They're the ones to be blamed for everyone's misfortune. We don't like to take ownership for our own wrong choices that's put us in the position that we're in. When Romans 13, it teaches us believers to respect authority, to honor authority as we would honor God. To rebel against authority is to rebel against God. If we do right, we shouldn't have a problem with authority. If we do wrong, authority steps in. Now, this was written by Paul to the Romans. The Romans were not nice towards the Jews. The Jewish people were experiencing a lot of hardship. It was in their desire to rebel, and many did. But Paul, through Paul, was telling them, no, that's not the way of the Lord. That's not the way of God. Whoever's been put in authority, God has allowed it. So we got to honor them and respect them to the best we can. Now, of course, Paul, at the same time, he was in jail by the same people in authority. And he was in jail, though, because he was preaching the gospel. So when it comes down to obeying man and obeying God, we got to obey God. So the only time we are to rebel against authority is if they're trying to force us to rebel against God, to not be obedient to God. And we better get that check within our spirit. We better get that guidance from the Lord himself, because if we rise up against government, we could be taken out real quick. And so we got to have wisdom. We got to know God's timing. We got to know God's ways. He is the one to guide us and lead us and direct us. We are the soldiers. He is the commander. But if we want to live at peace in this world, we should do the best we can to honor and respect authority. We're also called to reach those in authority. We're called to reach everyone. Seems like those in authority may be full of pride. They're not open to God. We don't know that. Only God knows. And if we're going to see our world change, we got to change the hearts of those in authority. So if God gives us open doors, divine connections, we got to take advantage of it. Not to go in and now just point fingers and judge. That's how the world operates. We're to show kindness. We're to build relationship. We're to speak life into people. Change their hearts. And when God changes their hearts, everything else changes with it. See, loving our neighbor is what we're all about as believers. Loving our neighbor as ourselves. That's the golden rule. That's the best rule. Of all rules, there's no other rule that changes society if we could just follow the golden rule. When we follow that rule, society is better. That's why you see in the history of Rome, Christianity, initially, they were persecuted, dragged out for sport, where lions ate them, and gladiators, all kinds of activity to just put Christians down, to make them to be laughed at and ridiculed and all that. But eventually, what happened? Rome embraced Christianity. Why? Because the Christians were such good citizens. They were the best citizens, the most respectful and honorable citizens. So therefore, Rome eventually was affected by that. And that's how it works. We should be the best citizens in our country. Wherever we live, we should be the most honorable, respectful. And in time, it will change hearts and change lives and make our world better. Christianity seems to be pushed out of society, but often it's because of our approach. We're more judgmental than we are showing grace and mercy. And so we need to rather show love. We're known for what we're against. We need to be known for what we're for. And we need to be clothed, as it says the last verse in Romans 13:14, be clothed daily in the presence of Jesus Christ. I just love that. Be clothed daily in the presence of Jesus Christ. Do things the way the Lord would do it, because he is with us and he's in us. And that's the best approach on reaching other people, is doing things the Lord's way, allowing the Lord to work through us. And we see the Lord was always amongst people of the world, and they didn't feel uncomfortable. They felt accepted, they felt loved. And that's why he was able to draw so many people into the kingdom. So let's go out and do the same. Hope this has inspired you today. God bless you. See you next time.